Hey, what's going on? It's your boy D.Wise, and I'm back with another episode of OTV Live. This is the show for the independent creative. My name is D.Wise, of course, and we got the standby Gypsy over there holding
Stanjai. What's going on, bro?
You have a new name. It's Stanjai.
It's all good. I might be, what am I, East Indian now? Stanjai? It's all good. Yeah, man, we are here for another episode of OTV Live as you set up over there and get yourself settled.
Get myself situated.
You were just talking Star Wars with Frank and Anthony. I had to cut you guys off. You guys could have done a whole show about it.
Yeah, pretty much. I went to go see it. This is, I think it was 3 times I went to go see the film.
3 times already?
Yeah.
Is that what you did with the past 2?
No, I saw The Force Awakens twice in the theater. I saw Rogue One twice in the theater. Now, from a okay, you know what? We're gonna do our sponsors first.
He said before we jump all the way up the roof.
Before we go into like craziness, because it's gonna get real heated. We're gonna do our sponsor first, and then we're going to discuss Poe Dameron.
You should have Frank come back in here. I'm not.
You know
that big. I'm not that big. You do the You do the sponsors, and I'll see if Frank is.
Yeah,
available.
let's see if Frank.
Because
Frank has a scientific.
Yo, this motherfucker said scientifically I can prove to you why that movie didn't need to exist.
Oh man,
he wants to burn it to the ground. So maybe we'll get him back in. Anyway, Coy, right?
Yeah, Coy. Ladies and gentlemen, our episode. This is episode 33, if I'm not mistaken, 33 of OTV Live. Yeah, man. So this is gonna get crazy. This is episode 33. Coy Creative Space is a creative space in White Plains, New York. It is located on Mamaroneck Avenue. I know a couple of the great owners of the place, and if you need a creative space in order to talk about, in order for you to do anything, meaning if you have a script that you want to. You want to write, if you need some quiet time away from the home, you want to get away from your wife, go to Coy Creative Space. Go to KoiCreativeSpace.com, mention OTV Live, and you will get a 15% off of your membership. You know what I mean? We got Frank from Quite Frankly in the building, and we're going to talk Star Wars: The Last Jedi. And if you have not seen the film, which I don't even know why you haven't, you probably need to just.
It's been a weekend.
Yo, listen, man. I've seen it 3 times already.
That's
3 times.
I had 2 Christmas parties, so that's my whole thing.
Okay,
I saw it Force Awakens 5 times. I saw Rogue One 3 times.
But have you ever seen any of them 3 times in a matter of 72 hours?
Yeah.
I've seen. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, first of all, they had a 5 a.m. showing in New Rochelle. So I got off of work around 3. It was Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night I went to see it. Friday morning at 5 a.m. They had it show in IMAX 3D, and I was just like, okay, I'm going. So I stayed up for a couple hours. I got some snacks, went in there and watched the movie. The first time I saw it, I was like, okay, I have to process this, because I was just like, this is a little bit left than what I'm usually used to for Star Wars. When I saw it the second time, and I didn't go in there expecting, the big rush and the hoopla or whatever. I went the second time to watch it just as a film, not in the sense of a Star Wars film. And then the third time I got to see it, I just looked at I looked at it from a standpoint of pacing, and then I looked at it from a cinematic view about it, and excitement-wise, like the excitement of the script and how fast it was going. The things that I liked about the film, I love the Kylo Ren Rey, connection. Poe Dameron, I think they're grooming him to become a leader of the rebellion now, which is cool. Finn and Rose, the 2 ancillary minor characters, had a whole subplot of them going to some other galaxy to go find somebody else or whatever, and it just didn't work for me. I thought that their whole subplot needed to be.
It felt like episode
changed.
7 of Stranger Things when they just took 11 off of somewhere else.
You think so?
Yeah, I understand plot wise when I saw the movie, you know, why they did it, but then at the end when the I forgot her name, the lady who was left on the ship.
Yeah, she's in Rebels. See, that's another thing. I had to, you know,
she should have been quicker on the feet.
She
should have done that before.
I had to go back and really go into the lore of Star Wars again. Like, I had to remind myself, because that character has been around for a long time. I forgot her character, one with the purple hair.
Yeah. She's
been around in Rebels and a couple of other Star Wars shows. So her character has already been in canon. And when it came in, the reason why I liked the film is because I couldn't predict where it was going. I couldn't. Like, usually in, Star Wars, the first 4, 5, and 6, you can kind of figure out where it's going. It's the plots weren't that complicated back in those days. I think it's because when we were little kids and we loved it so much and we watched it. But this film definitely felt like a different style of film. And have you seen Rian Johnson's other films?
No.
Brick, Looper, the Brothers Grimm.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if you go back and watch those other films, he pretty much puts his stamp on. It's still a Star Wars film, but it is a Rian Johnson film. J.J. Abrams, he gave you his version of what he felt the Star Wars film was.
But his version felt the closest to the originals, in my opinion.
Well, that's because, but the whole plot was the same thing as The New Hope. If you look at the plot,
I don't know. It still felt like a magic.
There's nothing but question. There's no answers. This whole thing sucked, dude.
Why is it? Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, where do I start? Which of those points do you want me to start at? First of all, Finn and Rose. It was a lot more than just them going off on a mission that took up time. The mission was pointless.
They
went off to find a code breaker to try to break up the tracking device that was on Snoke's ship that was apparently the de facto First Order headquarters. And while they're going off to gallivant for at least a half hour of screen time, where Rose desperately tries to get the audience to care about her backstory, and they let all of these race animals free, and they're talking about income inequality, and they're talking about arms dealing and all this shit. When they're supposed to find a code, and what do they find? They find a Benicio del Toro with a bad stutter, and he turns on them. So they never get the codes,
right.
And in the end result, Laura Dern had a little bit of a suicide pact with herself, and aside from that, there was also Leia's, transport ship plan. So there was absolutely already 2 plans in effect to get everybody off the ship and down onto Crate.
Right.
That entire mission was just to develop those 2 useless characters, and not Finn. Finn was something that I was very excited about.
Right.
First, we were teased that he was going to be like this new Jedi character. Then we realized that it wasn't
not a
him.
Jedi.
And now, what does he do? He's a bumbling fool that needs to be saved. He's a panic freak, bumbling fool that needs to be saved by everybody, and dragged off to safety by everybody. And the one thing that he was willing to do to sacrifice for the rebellion, kill himself. She doesn't allow him to do that. And not only that, she saves him from killing him because he was about to become the Randy Quaid character in Independence Day.
That's true. That's so true.
He was about to give it up and be a hero, and she comes in at the last second and does something that could possibly get them both killed.
I know. It was
right.
Oh God, that's just. I mean,
but you're going on those 2 characters. What about everything else that happened throughout the story?
You're talking about a half hour that could have been put toward Luke Skywalker and everything that we don't know about the actual fall at the Jedi Academy.
Okay.
The entire Knights of
But
Ren.
I think that is going to be answered in.
So you sacrificed Episode 8 to give us the answer finally.
That's what they did. That's what they did with Empire Strikes Back.
With what?
If you watch Empire Strikes Back, at the end, everything is gone to shit. Everything has gone to shit.
No, there's 2 different things.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Look at it from a plot.
I didn't feel like this one left with a cliffhanger, like you're saying with Empire.
But, it's not a cliffhanger, but it's definitely not. It's definitely not at the end. Everybody's like, "Oh, joy, happy, joy." It was a very.
It was anticlimactic.
Right. It was banal. It was like
In the end of Empire Strikes Back, the Rebels had regrouped. Luke had a new hand. He knew about his paternity with Darth Vader.
Okay, but wait a second.
And they had a mission to get Han.
That was an epilogue. The one with him getting the hand and all that. I'm talking about the ending. The real ending is when he got shit chopped off and he got on the ship.
Yeah.
Everything that came after that was just like an epilogue.
So, but how does that compare at all to this?
I'm saying the rebellion order is now trying to regroup. You know what I'm saying? They're starting from base.
Yeah, but
they have to go out and recruit new Jedi members and have to train new people in order to fight back the First Order.
There's nobody to train Jedi members. Who's there to train new Jedi members? There's no Jedi.
Well, Luke is coming. Come on, man. You know Luke is coming back. No, you saw what happened to
Luke. Well, I mean, listen. I think Luke is up there with
back.
He's going to come back.
He's going to train everybody as a ghost?
Yeah. He's going to be like Yoda. I'm just telling you that's the direction.
That's the direction they have to go.
I'm not saying it's not dumb.
That's the direction that they have to go. Listen,
but that's what's going to happen.
Okay, Frank. The problem that Frank is over here like
he's so bad.
He's steaming.
He's pissed.
But Frank, the problem. Everybody said that, oh my God, we hate The Force Awakens because it's an exact carbon copy.
But this is a different kind of hate, though. This is just a shitty done movie.
I don't think it was shitty, man.
Force Awakens was done well.
Gypsy. Okay,
yes.
so you're a little bit more of a casual Star Wars fan. Here's something that is I think simple enough for anybody to grasp.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me, and there's many instances of this, that they turn back on what we know about our well-established heroes. Luke Skywalker, a guy who was happy, enthusiastic, determined, loved his friends, would not go back on anything.
Right.
He refused to fight Vader and face and hurt his father because he felt the conflict in him.
Right.
Fast forward, and he is now a Jedi Master. He feels a similar conflict in his 19-year-old nephew, and his first instinct is to slaughter him in his sleep. That's not Luke Skywalker. They completely destroyed the characters. And that's why even Mark Hamill said, I disagree with everything that they have chosen to do with this character. It wasn't Luke. And then you talk about what about everything else that happened in the other part of the movie? Spending that much time on Finn and Rose, we were limited with so much that we wanted to learn from Luke. We wanted to put together what happened over the last 30 years. Now the people who are willing to tell us about it are all dead. In fact, the only character alive has a dead actress behind it now.
Okay, but wait a second. Hold on. So how is that any different than what happened with Obi-Wan when he sacrificed himself? He was the only one that could tell you the story that happened before.
I'm not talking about sacrifice. I'm talking that's Obi-Wan's character. Luke's character, perhaps he does sacrifice himself with Obi-Wan, but to do it, to be able to say, hey, you guys go, I'm not leaving with you, and then have a change of heart and just like force insert him from across the galaxy.
You didn't think that was they took the folklore and pushed
that
the
was pretty cool.
Right. They pushed the narrative forward, Frank.
How?
They pushed the narrative forward because we saw in this episode what the Force can do with uninhibited Luke is like the Force incarnate. Like in this episode, you
so
see
much so that it gave him a heart attack.
Well, not a heart attack, but I think he used up he tapped into the Force so much that he had to.
I think he graduated. In my mind, I think he graduated to the next level.
Right.
He's like at Yoda level.
Because that's what Ray said. She was like, he's gone, but I didn't feel that he was like, it wasn't painful. He said he went.
They sped her character development along way too quickly.
You think so?
Oh my God. Luke Skywalker had 2 masters over the course of 3 films to become competent in the Force. Rey closes her eyes, and all of a sudden she knows everything. And Yoda even says, she knows everything. She knows everything.
But she was in there, but we don't know her backstory. We still don't know who Rey's parents are. You know what I'm saying?
Apparently
they still kept it up.
Apparently they're nobody.
And another you come from nothing, and you know this.
So, wait a second. My question to you, Frank, is...
Please put on a shirt.
My question to you, Frank, is... So don't forget, the movie was already done before Carrie Fisher passed.
Right.
So
that's just bad luck.
Right. Exactly. So what I'm saying, but you can't. You said that actress is gone. They didn't plan it to be that way.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
saying?
That's just bad luck,
Right.
Because they willfully killed two of the.
So you can't tell me cinematography wise you didn't feel that this movie was far superior than Force Awakens.
I mean,
looks wise,
visuals, and a John Williams score. I mean, you put a John Williams score over a credit roll that's a Star Wars, and it's a Star Wars film. It looked great. It sounded great. I mean, it was a well-funded film.
It's a $1 billion movie.
It's the
take Star Wars out of it. Do you think that it's a good film? If you take
something you could bring your kids to. It's fun and entertaining.
No. What I'm asking, no.
Like Derek said, it was a $15 space film.
Yeah.
You go to a movie, it's a space war film, $15.
I thought it fit. I thought it fit well in the pantheons of Star Wars. I've seen every Star Wars film multiple times, including the god awful sequels. You can't tell me that this film wasn't better than any of those goddamn prequels, man.
No, the prequels are better.
What?
Just on the fact that it's George Lucas,
Bro,
it's his story.
Crazy,
it's
bro.
his story.
Yo, dude, film-wise, there are so many plot holes. Phantom Menace, Clones,
Phantom Menace had problems.
Oh,
But
the Clones was terrible.
There's still spirit.
The only saving grace.
No, they had casting problems. They had dialogue problems.
They had dialogue problems. Clones was the worst one because they had fluff to build on from Phantom Menace. There were so many plot holes and goddamn ancillary characters that you did not need in Phantom Menace.
Like who?
That when Clones, well, come on, Jar Jar Binks is one for the young actor that played Anakin. He was terrible. They had casting problems there.
Jack Lloyd's not good.
Okay, all right. Then on top of that, when you have Obi-Wan and Jesus Christ. One from Taken. I forgot his character.
Hayden Christensen.
Right. Then you had them going on these journeys.
That's Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker.
No, not Anakin. I'm talking about before that. It was
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
So you talk about two characters that didn't do shit. They went off to another planet and they didn't even really have to go. Like if you look back at the plot, it was just
What planet?
Oh my dude! At the
Tatooine?
beginning, yeah, when they went out,
They had to go to Tatooine because their hyperdrive was leaking.
I'm talking about after that. They went off to another planet to do something, and they were just like, why couldn't you just circumvent and go back? There was a plot point in there, the biggest plot hole in that movie. So you had those plot holes, and then when the Clones came, Clones was more of a political film than anything else. We got to know all the information.
But dude, that's George Lucas. It's his.
I understand that, but that doesn't mean that he made great films.
But what I'm saying is he set the bar with the characters, the story, where they were all heading. He could have had Anakin could have had irritable bowel syndrome, and it would have still have been, that's it. That's George Lucas's vision. So I always give that up to him right there. But as far as this goes, I mean, I don't know where else. I mean, there's so much I have written down. I need another hour to do it on my show, actually. I got it. It's just so much. So much. You didn't know anything about the... First of all, here's a couple of scenes that you could have put in there. Number one, there could have been a little bit of an action sequence that you can see.
Okay,
what
this
happened
is the first,
at the Academy? What happened at the Academy? Kylo Ren takes a handful of people, and they obviously ran amok. Let's see some of that. Fill in the fucking gaps. And then what's another one?
I wouldn't. They're gonna. I'm gonna see that in episode 9. But go ahead.
Who's gonna tell the story? Kylo Ren? I guess so.
Flashback.
Yeah.
Probably flashback.
Yeah. So but then once again, why are you giving up?
It's poor storytelling.
It's very
poor
bad.
It's just like I agree
thought it was
Frank.
poor storytelling.
Yes, I thought it was poor execution.
When Snoke put them together. Oh, come on, man.
It was a movie. It was a movie. That's all I'll say.
Wow. Damn.
I mean, I can go into all the... Pick another point.
That scene of Laura Dern's character sacrificing herself and shooting and going into to light speed and crashing.
That was phenomenal. That was the best part of the entire movie.
Yeah, it looked great.
Jesus Christ.
It looked great.
That was awesome. The fight between the Force Ghost and Kylo Ren was awesome as well. I could watch that again.
The Force Ghost?
Well, yeah.
Who?
When the battering ram opened up the door and you see.
Well, Luke.
When you first watched it, guys, did you notice that his whole look had already changed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you know it was a Force ghost, or you didn't?
No, I didn't get what was going on. I was wondering why he had the blue lightsaber again. I was like,
Right.
And then of course
And then that was destroyed 2 scenes before with Kylo and.
Well, that's what I think. That's another thing I'm talking about. He put himself on the line and projected himself on Crate to be able, and he pretty much killed himself just so that they can have a chance to escape that one time.
Right.
Commit your go to them. Be part of it. I mean, why are you going to spend? You can only play that card once and you're gone.
That's it.
Why do they? I mean, it's so.
But that's because he's not going to be in the movies again.
I felt that he didn't need to come.
Flushed him.
Yeah. I don't feel that he needed to go there and fight Kylo Ren. Like I just didn't see the point.
He should have grabbed Rey. What he should have done is he should have gotten his. What he should have done is he should have gone to the little Force tree. He should have had a conference. Okay, he should have actually had taken some counseling with any one of the 3 ghosts that we know. Obi-Wan. They did Peter Cushing great in Rogue One. They couldn't do Alec Guinness in a blue mist. He should have talked to somebody and actually got his shit straight. He should have levitated his fucking X-wing out of the water.
That's exactly what I thought he was going to do. When we saw that in the water,
I was like, that, man.
Because R2 is right there. You have R2. You have that. You have Rey can go. Rey goes with Chewbacca. Yep. They should have gone and infiltrated.
The X-wing has been underwater for 30 years. You think it's going to work? Like, that
would have been more believable than what they did.
It's not 30 years. He was only there for about 9-10 years. Who knows? What do we know about spaceships? It's probably all airtight. It was submerged. It was submerged under the swamp. It was under the surface of the water at Dagobah, and he flew out of there.
That's what I'm saying. A throwback to the other movie.
You're talking about a
throwback to the other movie. It wasn't totally drenched in water.
Yes, it was. It was in a swamp.
It was in a swamp
underneath.
Worst conditions.
Worst conditions. And you're talking about a vehicle with hyperdrive technology. You don't think that they made it waterproof?
That's a good point.
I don't know, man. I don't think so.
It would have been more believable.
First of all, any kind of a confrontation between Kylo Ren is not Rey's position. Kylo Ren is Luke Skywalker's problem.
Right.
So Luke should have taken Rey and gone to face Snoke and actually had a fucking battle.
That would have been amazing.
You know, who knows how that ends up? Maybe it's a stalemate. Maybe Luke dies anyway. Who knows?
This is the first episodic Star Wars saga that did not have lightsaber on lightsaber fight.
Yeah, but they had a stick fight and Rey won. Rey won a stick fight against Luke Skywalker.
I don't think she did.
Yeah, he's down like this.
No. Well, dude, you guys got to watch the movie again, man.
Oh, I'm going to.
Watch it again, because there's no way that Luke Skywalker lost that fight. Do you see how powerful he was? That when she went to go turn and he went back and he actually the Force. He didn't even fall. He could have easily taken her down, but that's not where he was. That's not what he was going to do.
Hey, listen. It's I said the little things is not something I wanted to nitpick on. I'm looking at what happened to the actual characters, and just didn't make sense to me at all.
I mean, did you honestly feel like? What did you think when you saw Leia floating through space after she'd been?
When she tapped into the Force?
What was that?
She's exposed in space.
Okay.
Do you know how harsh space is, dude?
Yeah, of course.
Just the human body itself.
She was holding her breath.
Please.
Was she holding her breath that whole time? She was just there. She was just suspended there. She's in open space.
You gotta watch the beginning of Gravity. They have like a blurb in the beginning, and it breaks down what happens to your body the moment it touches outer space.
Listen, man,
and it breaks down pretty fucking quickly.
This is Star Wars, man. There has to be some kind of suspension of disbelief.
I know that this is science fiction. I know it's science fiction
parameters.
They've abided by that.
Really, dude?
Yes.
Really, dude? Yeah. Parameters.
They've abided by that.
They've created a world. Yes, within their own world. They have rules.
There's no audio. There's no audio in space. We know it's all vacuum. It sounds muffled, but they've abided by exposure. They have abided by that. Okay, especially in the Clone Wars. The only Jedi that was able to survive outside of a ship without any kind of equipment was Plo Koon, because he pretty much had a respiration unit built into his face. Mace Windu, everybody else, they at least had something around their head. She was just chilling. It was over. I was like, actually, when she got sucked out of the cabin, I said, okay, well, you know what?
You
it
thought
makes
that-
sense. It makes sense.
Right.
I said, okay.
They did my boy Akbar pretty dirty too. They
Big
just
time.
mentioned him, and he was like Akbar is dead. I was like, damn son. I was like, damn, they did him dirty.
He didn't even get a line.
It's a trap.
You didn't even hear him go, ah!
It's like, yo, you just see him blew up, and I was like, oh man. I was like, Akbar's dead. I was like, he's gone. Listen, I'm a movie buff. And I watch all these different movies all the time. Anybody can tell you. But, damn, people are not watching us because we said it was Star Wars and the spoilers.
Oh, well.
I thought it was a well-made movie. I liked it better. I liked it a little bit better than Force Awakens. Just a little bit better.
Ooh.
I liked it a little bit better, and I want to figure out how J.J. Abrams is going to bring this back to the fold. Like I said, it's just bad. It's bad luck that Carrie Fisher passed away, and we don't have her character anymore. And they gave her the best song, I think, for her character, because she's still strong. She's still putting things together. That shot of her on the planet with the fucking coat, covering her eyes with the light shining down on her.
But I started laughing because I felt like
man.
Carrie Fisher was trolling the movie at certain points. Like, it was so tongue in cheek that towards the end of the movie, I started laughing. Well, like when Luke threw the lightsaber in the first scene.
Okay.
I mean, there was tongue in cheek.
My first reaction was just like.
I mean, it was funny, but then there was just too much comedy. It never settled down.
I
and got serious.
I felt like they had a team, one of the writing teams at HBO, writing the entire thing. The comedy, the snark, the East. It was like this coastal elite snark humor that just never stopped. Like, oh my god! And when he threw the lightsaber, I understand. You've been through some shit, Luke, but you don't. You haven't seen this thing since your hand got lopped off.
Right.
And this unknown girl that you can definitely feel, if you're a Jedi Master, you can feel the Force within her. Who is she, and how did she get this? He never even asked the question.
Right.
What?
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
He never asked her a question. He asked her multiple times. Who are you? Where you come from? What the fuck?
Once he discovered her inside that little hut, but she just placed a family heirloom into his hand.
They had a chance to go deeper.
I was saying, in Star Wars, inanimate objects become characters and icons. The Millennium Falcon is a character to me. Anakin's lightsaber is a character to me.
Okay.
That's a very important piece of Star Wars, and he just looked like, oh, I remember this from Bespin. By what?
I agree with you. There wasn't enough respect to the story.
He promised her I'm going to train you 3 lessons. He gave her 2 half-assed ones. I don't understand.
To be honest with you, I feel like that we have not tapped into how powerful Rey is until we see the finale.
Listen, she might be a savant when it comes to it. I can get over the fact that she's become a Jedi quicker than most, but maybe these kids are getting smarter and smarter.
Guidance.
So what did you feel? What did you feel about Yoda's Force Ghost coming back? Burning everything up.
I thought it was a little bit weird that he was.
Damn, man, you didn't like anything about the fucking film. Jesus Christ!
I thought that I was pretty much anticipating that they were going to bring back the CGI Yoda from the prequels, which was pretty damn solid. But they brought back a CGI version of the puppet. Which was odd to me. I don't know. It was fine.
Well,
it was fine. I just wish that the Force Ghost, because I knew that there was going to be some kind of a ghost in here. I just wish that they had spoken earlier and there was a little bit more there. And I wish that Luke actually got on his horse and left the damn planet. Seriously, it's just unbelievable. He went. That was his fight. It was just very weird.
That was his fight?
Yeah, it was his fight. It really was. And she should have been along for him because her training should have continued. She should have at least been under his tutelage until next.
It could have been a lot like her and Han's relationship when he taught her how to use the Millennium Falcon and all the thing that
Pretty much.
he learned from her. I mean, that would have been a great plot, a nice ride along with them two back to the mothership and then taking out Snoke. But it didn't work out like that.
And what did you feel about them taking out Snoke? Well, Kylo Ren actually taking out Snoke. We got a couple people watching. If you haven't seen Force Awakens, I guess you can't comment. But if you did, please let us know how you feel. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, I mean, Snoke is another pointless character that I was hoping we were going to get some closure on. Okay. But now, as soon as he shows up, he's portrayed as this ultimately omniscient, powerful being. Right. But yet he doesn't feel the 20-something-year-old in the room turning a lightsaber on him from across the room, using the Force. He can sense everything in the room. He doesn't see that coming, and he's cut in half. And then they fight these guards that are not Force sensitive but have some melee weapon talents, and they're not even using the Force on them. Kylo Ren could have put all of them up against a wall, and they're breaking a sweat against these royal guards. That's why I'm saying there should have been a confrontation between Snoke, Luke, Rey, and Kylo Ren on that ship. They should have infiltrated it like they've infiltrated every other ship in this goddamn story. Mm-hmm. And there should have been a confrontation, whether it's a stalemate or whatever. The other thing is, Snoke now, as we all learn, is not even the most disposable character. Captain Phasma is exactly what I knew she was going to be.
Dude, they botched that one. I have to... Phasma...
You can't botch what was only created just to be there. They just wanted to create female characters, and they made it... It's insulting when you do that. It comes out
I felt like Phasma should have... Well, I don't think she's dead anyway. I don't think Phasma's dead. But
she got sucked out of.
No, she fell through the fire or whatever.
As the ship broke apart.
Yeah, the ship was going down, but that doesn't mean anything. She'd always come back.
Well, I guess Leia can come back.
Well, Leia, I don't think Leia's coming back. I think they're going to start the next film off. What the hell is that? Is it Jesus? Is that somebody outside? Is that
Rochester?
Wow. I think they're going to start off the next movie with her funeral. I think that's what they're going to have to do, because I mean they're not going to replace her, and I think it was a great send off.
The great send off would have been if she died in the bridge.
Yeah, I thought that too, but the movie was already made. So, and I think that when you're watching the movie, you automatically go, yeah, they're going to kill her off here. That's what I thought. I thought that Laura Dern was going to get in that ship, and I thought that Leia was going to go down. You know what I mean? I thought she was going to go down with the ship. But it didn't. And I thought the scenes that came after that, I thought it was a great send-off. You got her, that moment, like I said, with her standing there looking out at the First Order coming down to the planet. And she's just like, all right, they're here. And I thought to myself, that encapsulates Leia. She's not going to be deterred from anything. She's going to go in and still fight. I thought that was a great ending for her.
Listen, I think that some dialogue was good. I saw some things were, I mean, everything was visually pleasing. I didn't not enjoy myself. It kept me curious until the end of the film. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, when it all ended, I felt like I was shortchanged big time.
Okay. I mean, okay, so out of 5, what do you give it?
1.
Wow.
1.
Wow.
Because this is not if you screwed up Rogue One, you screwed up a standalone film. I really believe that they fucked up some very important things on the middle movie of a trilogy. That means that the next film has got to be built upon this foundation. And I just think that you're already going in so shorthanded. You don't have a lot of tools in the shed. You've already I don't know. I just think it's whatever. I'm upset.
Yeah, I think we're going to need a few more Star Wars to put this in context. I think it will be a lot more tolerable 2 or 3 movies down the road, but it shouldn't have gotten to this place.
Well, 7, 8, and 9 was really supposed to be the resolution of the old character's story arc. That was the resolution of their their story arc, and the slow passing of the torch. There are such better ways, in my opinion, to pass the torch on than to kill Han in 7, which you probably have to do because Harrison Ford just didn't want to be a part
Yeah, he
of
didn't
it.
want to be there anymore.
But just to think that you never even had Luke and Leia and Chewie in the same room. I mean, even R2 and 3PO were like in the background.
it was just odd. And even when I saw them on screen, I just was like,
BB-8 was just like everywhere. You're like, okay, now he's driving an AT-AT. Now he's doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Oh,
He was,
God.
yeah. He saved the day. But I felt the same way about the other. I thought the other android in Rogue One was. I thought he was great.
Yeah, well, that was their own story.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I like that Imperial Guard. The one that what's his name? Steve the Pirate did.
Yeah.
That was the voice.
So how about you, Gypsy?
What's up?
Out of 5, what do you give it?
I want to give it like 2 scores. I want to, the just a normal movie. It was a decent movie. I'll give it, 3.5, 3 stars as a regular movie. But as a Star Wars fan, I give it like a 2.
Yeah, if I was going to give it a casual fan, 3.5, 4. Because my mother, my parents loved it. Then again, she just went for Carrie Fisher. She's a Carrie Fisher fan. And then all of our friends that came with us that are just casual moviegoers and don't have really anything in.
Yeah, but it's so funny for me to be a Star Wars fanatic. Like, I've grew up, like, the first movie, I wasn't even born when the first movie came out, but my parents made me watch it on HBO, like when I was a kid. And then when Empire Strikes Back, I was front and center. I remember sitting in between my parents watching it. And then when Empire Strikes Back came out, Return of the Jedi came out, I was right there, like, hands down. So, I've been a Star Wars fan. I watched pretty much I stopped watching Rebels a couple of years ago. I got to finish up that whole thing. But I've seen the prequels. I've seen all the TV shows. I've read the comic books that are canon and the ones that are not canon.
I got the Dark Horse and I got all of the extended universe.
Right. So I've read all the materials. Like, I felt that this episode was the connecting episode that you would need for a big finale. I felt like this one was the setup to what is going to happen in the next installment. I really do feel like that.
It's just Kylo Ren and Rey. That's all it is. That's all it is.
And
If
new
that's
characters.
good,
And even more new characters.
I don't need it.
You think-
I don't really need.
You think that
any
you're going to
new
get a little bit
characters.
more information on the First Order, where it came from, why it became so powerful when it was
Right.
emerging from the shadow of the Empire. There's so, I don't know. There's just so little. There was so little. If you're, I don't know, man. I was looking for the details. I was looking to fill in gaps of the last 30 years, and still, to say though you got to wait until the end is a little bit unsettling to me, because why? It's almost like you offered up and sacrificed the middle movie just to get to the end.
I don't feel it was a sacrifice, because I felt. I'm not going to give it 5 out of 5 stars, but I'm definitely going to give it about 4, maybe 4.5. And I got to see it again, because I had to watch it. I had to watch it multiple. I had to watch it. Yeah, I had to see it more than once, because when I left the theater the first time, I was like, damn, that shit really went left. Like, that's all I kept on saying.
How so?
I felt like that it was unexpected. Everything that happened in the film, they didn't fall down to the pitfalls of previous installments where you knew what was going to happen. Like I said, okay, so Star Wars was directed by George Lucas. The second one was Irving Kershner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And the third one, I totally forgot. Return of the Jedi was directed by another director. I felt like, to me, JJ had to reintroduce canon to the audience. That was the problem I had with it.
Because Star Wars was a story about family troubles.
Right. So when
took
it
family
came
out
out
of it.
Right. When it came to it, when it came out, I was just like, okay, he's building a new family. And I felt that there was, little subplots that, just like this one, didn't need to be there, or I felt that it should have been a little bit different. Now, this one, I'm just like, okay, I can't predict. I had to sit in the movie theater and watch it just as a fan, and I did not know what was going to happen. And I felt that breathed a new breath of fresh air into the series, because I was just like, okay, I don't want the same feeling that I had watching Force Awakens, because I knew exactly what was going to happen. Like, I was sitting in the theater going, okay, well, these two are going to make it. This one is going to go this way, and blah, 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 blah. I knew the ending already.
I didn't know that Han was going to die.
Oh yeah, I knew they were going to do. I knew that.
I didn't know that.
Once I found out that Kylo Ren was, Leia and Han's kid, I was just like, he's going to kill him. Like, even when we were sitting there, I was just like, yeah, he's dying. And then when it happened, I mean, it looked beautiful. Like, the way they filmed it was very, very well. But I was just like, okay, it was predictable. That was my biggest problem with The Force Awakens. This one was not predictable. I couldn't see any of the plot lines coming.
But unpredictable is not always a good thing. To me,
no, I got you.
Dude, it was just too much, too much for me with the humor, and it was too much with the.
What was wrong with the humor, my man?
It was too much. They tried so hard.
What humor do you feel like that they tried too hard?
And there's always been.
I love the one with Chewie with the little fucking the porgs, and he's sitting there trying to eat one. He's got like one on the barbecue.
I said it out loud.
Was like,
yeah,
I thought that was funny.
When he was barbecuing on the beach, I said it out loud. I said, "Chewie, you better eat that damn thing."
Yeah, I was like, "Don't be a fucking pussy."
We don't know if he did. He just sat there.
But the reason he did it is Disney.
Yeah,
because they have to sell those fucking animals.
You
later.
See, and this is what I'm talking about.
It was dead already.
You're talking about what is the character. What is the character that has been established, and what would that character have done? You're talking about Chewbacca that would have ripped your arms out if you beat him in a game of sabacc, and that's it. and now he feels bad about the little birds,
and he's hungry.
Hey.
He's hungry. It's not even like a random killing. He's actually doing this to survive.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Then we have to watch Luke pole vaulting across the island and sucking the tits of sea cows.
Oh God, that was disgusting.
Oh my God.
It's like dripping down his beard.
Yo, listen.
What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, and he's looking at her like,
right.
Hey, Jenna.
He looked like a horny homeless guy who hasn't had some in a while. He's like, I need this.
Yo, y'all are terrible, man. It didn't go down like that, man. I felt that he wanted to get her. He was like, this is me now.
He tried to do a Mr. Miyagi.
Right, man. I appreciated that. He was on the island. He's just like, yo, leave me alone. Let me be. This is my daily routine. Do you like this shit? Because if you continue down this path, this is exactly where the fuck you're going to be. I like that shit. I liked it. He was like, look, bitch, I got to go catch some fish. I'm going to suck a tit or two. Fuck you. This is exactly what you're going to do if you continue on with this bullshit. Leave me alone. I appreciate it.
I understand he wanted her to go away. I understand that, but it's just
What are we talking about?
No, we're talking about when we were on the island with Luke, and he was, pole vaulting across and killing the fish and sucking the tits of some kind of random animal. Like, I was just like, I kind of like that. It was cool.
That actually wasn't a part that necessarily bothered me.
What was the biggest part that bothered you? What was the biggest?
We're allowed to talk spoilers here?
Yeah, man. We're just spoiler heavy, baby.
Okay, big problem.
Spoiler heavy.
Leia's revival. Huge problem with that.
What? With her tapping into
There's no tapping when you're dead.
She was dead. She was crystal. There was an explosion. There was an impact. You were in outer space. You were crystallizing. You're getting frozen in space.
Her wedding dress wasn't even tattered from the flames of the explosion.
And honestly, it was unnecessary. Being she's already dead. She's actually dead in real life. Let her die. Let her die. That's fine. I don't see.
So you think they should have went back, reshot it, and not kept her alive?
Well, she died a year. I mean,
how much of that did?
She did the whole. No, she did the whole film. The whole film was filmed. It was done already. She had went back and did a couple of reshoots already. So
that okay. So wait a minute. So that part was part of the plan.
Yeah, that was part of the plan.
Then it was a horrible plan. I think that was a very. If you're going to keep her alive throughout the film, then her being blown up and killed, essentially killed, and then all of a sudden, she's able to bring herself back. using the Force, which she's not. I mean, yes, she is.
Yeah, she should have just been spared
Yes,
from the
she's a
explosion.
Skywalker, but still. Anyway,
Yeah, but we don't know how many years. That's the whole thing about this. When you have
a big jump.
No, it's a
That
big
right
jump.
there- that right
But we,
there was-
we haven't seen them in like 20, 30 years. We don't know if they've been using the Force.
She
like
didn't
that.
train. She didn't train like that with Luke. She didn't do that.
How do we not know that?
Yeah,
How do we know
but
when we go to the next
What Jedi
episode?
could do that? Like,
None.
There's a lot of things that a Jedi couldn't do. They're pushing the narrative forward. Look, there was no Jedi Master that has taken their whole Force and put it into like quintessentially a hologram. Like they're still pushing the narrative forward.
I don't know. So that's a,
So you want the
That's an
world to be
agreed
contained in just the
no,
folklore
no.
of
The thing is that when you're
4,
dead,
5,
you're
and
dead.
6?
When you're dead, you're dead. Like
Star Wars has
Jedis
always
die.
they've
Siths
always abided
die.
by the rules of space as far as exposure goes.
Yeah.
I mean, hearing
They're not
lasers.
Jedis and Siths are not gods.
No, they're not.
They're
They've never
humans.
been.
They die.
Okay.
So that I don't know. It just didn't feel Star Wars to me. That was the first thing. Didn't feel
Okay.
Star Wars.
All right. I can give you
think-
that one. I was on the fence about
Yeah.
it.
The I can't stand Rose. I hate her.
A lot of people.
Hater.
I took Tajir, the intern, and he was like, "What is this little Asian woman doing in my movie?" And we actually walked up, and he saw the poster, and he was just like, "Who's this young Asian girl?" And I was like, "How about you go watch the movie?" I saw it twice already before I took the kids. So he was just like, "Who's this little Asian girl?" I was like, "You got to see the movie." And he came out of it, and he's 14 years old, and he's like, "Yeah, I didn't like her character." And I said, you know what? For a 14-year-old to say he didn't like, I didn't like their adventure either.
Yeah.
I didn't like it either.
I didn't like.
I think that 30 minutes could have been taken out, and they could have done
Those are the
something
problems.
else.
It diverted everything. It diverted everything away from.
I think
actually
that was the
learning about
weakest
Luke.
point of the film.
But
Go ahead.
it took away from Luke.
They had an opportunity to maybe turn Snoke into a character that we'd be interested in.
Okay.
But they completely
They kept it
They
secretive.
wasted that, and they turned him into like, why did we even give a shit about Snoke in the first place? Because apparently this guy
It's bad. Like his scene when Kylo Ren stepped to him,
My
and then
question
he
is-
just like did the bzz, like real quick. I was like, oh shit, this dude's a bad
That's
motherfucker.
right. That's right. And
This
then
is
he
a bad
got
motherfucker.
easily taken down.
It didn't-
Like, how
yeah,
easily
agreed.
did he get taken down?
Agreed.
He's the weakest Sith Lord piece of shit. That guy was the biggest piece of shit waste of a Sith Lord there's ever been.
So how much screen time did Palpatine get? Like for
he
real?
he was droning throughout the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, he was
He was always
that
in
guy.
charge.
Yeah,
he was someone you heard about. He was someone you heard about in
Right.
New Hope. You started getting holographic images of in Empire Strikes Back, and then finally
Right.
you saw his
him
rotting face
yeah.
in Jedi. You know, it was just everything took its time in the original trilogy, and that's the other reason why I can't stand what happened with Rey. You know, Rey, you cannot convince me. If you want to say that Rey is made up of stuff that can make her a far more powerful Jedi than Luke, fine. Just show me how it happened, though. Everything was so rushed with this character.
Also, the Force Ghost Yoda, the Force Ghost CGI, the puppet.
Of the puppet. I think
CGI of
they
the puppet.
took. But from I want to see how they filmed it because I
CGI the
think.
puppet.
Why don't they
I
design
think-
the actual fucking puppet?
No, I think they used both. I think it was a composite of practical and CGI.
Yeah, the second
together.
half of the scene, it looked more realistic,
Right.
like the actual puppet.
Because when he
It looked
came,
like
it
materialized.
looked from my perspective, it looked like when he came up, it looked like CGI, like he wasn't fully formed as of yet as a Force Ghost.
Right.
But then when he goes next to him and you see him hit him with the cane, and he was like and hit him, I was like, okay, he looks like
that was
himself.
old school Yoda, too.
Right,
That
old
was
school
old school
Yoda.
Yoda.
I appreciated that they did a composite of both. Because Yoda in the prequels, I was just like, I don't want to see a green blob just bouncing
Slimer.
around.
Looked like Slimer.
I was just like, nah, bro.
See, that was one of those things that I didn't care too much about because like I said, the bigger things about the story and how the time was allotted and in my opinion wasted. it was something I didn't want to get into nitpicking. And Yoda, I wanted to see him.
Right,
In
of course.
fact, I wanted to see Luke, seek counsel from some of the big three.
Okay.
I think that there would have been that would have been really cool for him to seek counsel from Obi-Wan and Yoda or even Anakin to see, what the hell should
Yeah, I don't
do?
need Anakin coming back.
Why not? Why not? That'd be interesting.
Because you ruined George Lucas ruined my fucking original trilogy by re-releasing them and then putting they put in Force Ghost Anakin, and then they changed this, and I was just like, George, just your original trilogy, it is what it is, and I understand that you want the canon to mesh well, but just give me the original ones that you put out on 35 millimeter film. Let me watch those, and you can't find them anymore because he went back and fucking did all this stuff and added shit, and the Han not shooting first, they added fucking the other guy shooting at him. I was like, come on, man, just leave it the way it is, man. Just leave it.
There's
I understand that, but I gotta say, I think it also depends on when, at what point you what era you grew up in.
Okay.
Because I was 9 years old when I first got into Star Wars, and when I was 9 years old, I remember that was the year that I got into. That was when the special edition was released.
Right.
Right. And then just a few years later, that was when Phantom Menace was released, and I was the target audience that was.
Of course, it was a kids' film. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was just so many plot holes and so many things going on that I was just like, I can't even do it. I don't like the prequels. Like, none of them work as a Star Wars story in my eyes, and none of them work as films. It was just boring, to be honest with you. Clones is the worst one. Phantom Menace, I thought was okay. And then
see Clones, I think that's where it starts getting really, really kind of almost like galactic thriller stuff. I like Obi-Wan.
It was a political film.
Yeah, well, that's what the movie is. You're talking about the rise and fall of empires and republics. And
right.
You're seeing Palpatine starting to slowly orchestrate a separatist movement to be able to consolidate his own power.
Right.
You're seeing Obi-Wan go off to Kamino to investigate a strange order for clone troops underneath a dead Jedi's name, and they're starting to put together pieces that will eventually come tumbling down on them when it's way too late. I personally like. There's casting indiscretions. There is cheesy dialogue, but I give into it. This just didn't feel like, and I liked Force Awakens. This is not me looking for something to be upset about.
No,
I enjoyed Force Awakens.
I never said that. I'm just trying to get each and every one of y'all to look at it from a film perspective instead of just a Star Wars perspective. As a Star Wars film, I think it stands. I don't think it stands along with New Hope, Empire, and Return. Of course not. I don't feel Force Awakens stands with those quality of film. It's a different era. It's a different time. In the 80s, it was much different. You've never seen anything like this before. You have been hit in the face with a lot of Star Wars stories, whether it be comic books, non-canon and canon, the epic novels, the freaking prequels, and everything else. We have gotten in the last 20 years a lot of Star Wars content.
As far as movies go, like you said, I would give it 3.5 stars.
Okay.
I understand why our friends and our parents enjoyed going out for the movie watching experience. Right. But as the Star Wars film, I am not.
Wait, Ant, before you leave, you got to give us a score out of 5. That's all.
Score out of 5
yeah,
for a Star Wars film and just for a general movie.
Oh, for general movie, I can give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
For a Star Wars film, I have to give it. I got to give it like a 2 out of 5.
Okay, and that's fair.
And only because I feel like
and I told you I'm only giving it about 3.5, 4 maybe. I felt that Rian Johnson, like I said, I've seen all of his films, whether it be Brick, Looper, Brothers Grimm. You know what I'm saying? His style of filmmaking, it wasn't that evident, but he put his stamp on it, and I appreciated it. I thought it was way left than anything we've ever experienced in Star Wars, and I think I needed that in the Star Wars film. To me personally, I needed somebody to go, all right, we got to shake this shit up.
Yeah, but new characters are new characters. I feel like old characters, their essence and their personalities have been betrayed a little bit. That's the only thing.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, but the whole thing, we're gonna wrap this up. This has been a Star Wars episode, I guess, of OTV Live. The thing I'm thinking of, okay, the reason why I don't have a problem with the old characters coming back and being a little bit different than when they were 20s or 30 years old, it's been 20 or 30 years. You know people for over 20 years, and they change over time. And I don't think they abandon the characters. I think that they move them forward. I mean, if you're in your 60s, which everybody, Harrison, Carrie, and Mark Hamill, they're all in their 60s. They're not going to be the same people as they were when they were in their 30s.
Still,
from a character standpoint,
Mark would say, I don't like where we went.
Yeah, but he also came back and said after that, he was just like, all right, I have accepted this.
Yeah. Well, you have to. Yeah. When the decisions come from the top, you do what you got to do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't get to the independent albums this week, but we will be back in the new year. We're taking about 2 weeks off, right? You guys ain't going to be open next week. Next week is what?
Well, Christmas is Monday, yeah.
Yeah, Monday. So we won't be back until the new year. Is it New Year? Let me see. Well, I don't even know if you guys are going to be open New Year's Day.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Who knows?
We'll see.
Maybe.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, catch me. I'll keep you guys posted. Check us out. Make sure you watch Quite Frankly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Come on, man. Make sure you catch Quite Frankly. That's every night on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and type in Quite Frankly, and you can watch him 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Also, we got the Hangover Takeover coming up at 9:30 right here. Well, I'm on Facebook Live, but you can check them out on YouTube and Facebook Live. So check them out. Also, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Mr. D.Wise. That's MrDWise.com. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, Snapchat, all that good shit. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, may the force be with you.